Hello friends, welcome to the second part of formulating a research problem. This is our third session of research methodology and we'll start from where we left in previous lecture. And we were discussing significance of good research statement. Again, it's very necessary to work hard to define and test all kinds of environmental variables to make your project successful. That there shall be hard efforts invested to formulate a good research statement. That's very essential because research statement is the start point for your research and it shall be a good one to ensure your success. And why we need to define a good statement is because this step define all the important findings of your study, and this will your study will deliver enough data to be worth considering if your research problem is defined properly. Then you have to identify specific environmental variables that may potentially affect your research and start formulating effective methods to control all of them. Those environmental variables, like sometimes if you are working in field, then wind speeds, then ambient temperatures, maximum minimum temperatures, all those variables affect your work. Therefore you have to consider all those variables, and if those variables can be controlled, you have to control those. If those are not controllable, then those should be kept similar in all your experimental designs across all your experimental groups. Research problem may range from very simple to very complex, and everything depends on range of variables and their relationships. We are going to study this during experimental design. Some of the research problems or variables, some of the research variables are relevant to specific research questions, while others are completely unimportant for your project. Therefore, those unimportant variables and those unimportant relationships you can skip to explore, or you need to skip and need not waste your time in exploring those variables. And when you consider all these things, your variables, relationships of those variables, environmental variables, controlled variables and confounding variables, if you think much over those, then this knowledge will enable you to develop effective solutions, and this will help you to get a deep understanding of all dimensions, all facets of your research problem. Then you can think about focus groups, where to focus on the research problem, which aspects of the research problem shall be focused. For example, if you are considering pigment production by using a specific environmental microbial isolate, then in that pigment production, temperature or incubation temperature can be an important part, because in case of Serratia marcescens, pigment production or pigment is expressed only under 19 degrees centigrade temperature. But for some mutants of Serratia marcescens, you can get pigment production at higher temperatures also. Therefore, you have to consider temperature as one of the important focus parameter. And other relevant details you need to focus about your research problem to provide necessary insight into the particular question. And all these things shall be considered first, and for that you need to read a lot. And uh, we'll discuss about now how to determine variable relationships. Here we have to identify the variables that affect possible solutions to your research problem. As we consider, for pigment production, temperature can be important one, pH can be important one, specific nutrient concentrations can be required one, because for some processes tryptophan is required in higher amount. You have to consider all those things, then deciding on the degree to which you can use and control all of them for study purposes. If some variables are there, will be there, which will not be in your control, and for those you have to match those. If you are using two groups for the experiment, then for both the groups, those confounding variables or the variables which you cannot control shall be same. Then determining functional relationships between existing variables. Those variables can affect each other. If pH is changed, then optimum temperature may change. If optimum temperature is changed, pH may change. You have to consider their functional relationships to while designing your problem, and during your work also. Choose the most critical variables for a solution of your research problem, and sometimes This can be done through literature survey, or if not, then logical discussions can be done. Brainstorming can be done with your friends or with your mentor, and you can find out the critical variables which will be important for your research problem. And during the formulation stage, it's necessary to consider and generate as many potential approaches and as many variable relationships as you can, because out of those different combinations you can select the combinations which are most suited for your work. And if an approach fails, you can change that approach and you can go to new approach, because in problem statement your approach is not there. And there are different consequences that each course of action or approach which we discussed earlier, that there can be alternative very different approaches which you can take, uh, you can accept to explore your research problem. And there are different consequences that each course of action or approach can bring, and that's why you need to anticipate them. If you get this result, then you shall have a plan to go for the next experiment. If result change, then alternate plan shall be ready. Communication of consequences of the research is a primary goal of any research process, and you have to consider this seriously. Then look at scientific papers to notice their research questions, because they are crucial for determining the quality of answers, methods, and findings. That literature survey is very essential before starting your problem statement. Then quantitative designs use deductive reasoning to state a testable hypothesis. Deductive reasoning is the reasoning based on specific earlier knowledge. You may get specific numbers. Based on those numbers, you will take the second step. Then you think over those results of the second step, and based on that you can go to next one. Your problem will be broken down into different parts to get the actual solution. That's the deductive reasoning is required, and that deductive reasoning is essential to state a testable hypothesis. Then qualitative methods are also there. Use inductive reasoning. In qualitative one, inductive reasoning is there. Based on the uh, knowledge one, you go on adding a bit and bit and bit to get the inductive reasoning that is there, and you go further to get the results. And qualitative methods can be used to make a strong statement for the future thesis or the future experiments. Then you need to formulate research problem during the initial stage of a scientific process or study. Literature reviews, search, and studies of previous experiments are likely to provide you with vague areas of interest. And then these are the practical aspects of how to define the research problem. If you have the done literature survey, then look at the area that brings interesting results. That's very essential, because your work shall be of your interest. Then only you will work with more passion. Make sure that it has a potential for exploring. If that is too complicated, if that is too broad or too vague, it will be very difficult for you to complete your research. Therefore, you shall make you shall have to make it sure that your research problem has a potential for exploring. Then think about reviewing a successful experiment and try to disagree with its results, methodology, and tests, and define the entire process and retest its hypothesis. This can be done, and this can be a very good practice for you how to design the research problem, and how to uh, do the research, or how to go through the research. And then another is very important one. You have to get useful feedback from your teachers, students, and other people to successfully revise your research question. Brainstorming is essential, very essential. Then a final decision is always up to you, because it's your problem. Feel free to decide which advice is useful. Discuss with all those peoples, but think on your own, and take your own decision. Take the following details into account to simplify this process, and those are: agreement among readers that a research problem is very broad, suggestions that you have a certain misunderstanding of the chosen matter, you have to take, advice for narrowing your subject down or thinking of a better ways to focus it, you have to do, then specifics about your misunderstanding, a consensus that your research question is very narrow, and interesting ideas to make it more general, that your discussion will bring out, discussion with your colleagues, with your teachers will tell you whether your research problem is good or not. Then comments about its clarity and phrasing will help you to decide the problem. After revising your initial research problem, its possible solutions, and above mentioned details, you are ready to write a formal version of your research problem. And all that is for structuring your research problem. And the next step in the structuring research problem is to do a simple self-test to determine whether it's good enough for your scientific project, and make sure that you can have mental simulations also. You can run all those things in your head, uh, ask questions to yourself and try to answer those questions. Try to discuss with your friends also. Then your question shall allow for a number of potential answers. Then you have to ensure that it's a testable, flexible and open-ended. You have the evidence necessary to address the problem, your methods, and for all those you shall have specific references. If those are there, then you can prove yourself, or you can prove you to your guide that the approach you have taken, the problem you have stated for your research is the proper one. It's possible to break your research problem into small resolvable parts. That is the top down approach. uh, Separate it into different parts and analyze each part, and then bring together all those parts. Your research problem shall be precise and clear. You don't have to use any vague terms that require definitions. All the terms used in the research problem shall be very clear, and shall have a single meaning, shall not be ambiguous. And your research problem shall be suitable for the length of your research, because various different levels are there. Undergraduate research is different, PG research is different, entire PhD research is different, postdoc research is different. Then you have to state the problem as per the length of your research, and you can explain why your solutions matter in the research problem. And you made premises of your research explicit, the background on which you have designed your research problem, you have to make that explicit. Then after research starts with a problem that you derive from the topic that attracts your attention after general reading, classroom discussion, etc. And that's the research problem which is designed by brainstorming, discussion with colleagues, discussion with your teachers will be most suitable one for to work on. Then most instructors, most guides prefer to set general topics, because general topics are easy to handle. Then to formulate a powerful research problem and impress them, it should be your research problem should be interesting, relevant, specific and focused, researchable. That's our concluding remarks, that your research problem shall be interesting, shall be relevant to the situation, shall be specific and focused, and shall be researchable. Your question should have enough bearing on a given topic and stay within the limits set by your professors in advance. Pick an interesting subject to stimulate your motivation. It should be very vague. It should not be very vague or very broad. If your research question is broad, you can make it more specific by exploring specific aspects, specific time periods, or events. Then there should not be more than a few possible answers for your research. You have to get a clear insight into available materials. Explore all possible sources to find relevant and updated databases, books, magazines, journals, and other sources of information. You have a very vast internet available. You can explore that internet also. Many various online sources like PubMed, Google is there to find out the research material to decide on your research problem, and that we discussed in the previous video about literature survey. Your research problems must be doable at the very beginning, and you have to do your study your preliminary sources to test it and find enough data. And that's all for research problem design. Go through this lecture again and again to understand it better. I have provided you with the PDF of reading material also, and this particular presentation also. Go through those and try to understand research problem, and feel free to discuss this in the comment section or in the forum section. Thank you. Thank you very much.